Tonight, the hunt is over for a notorious fugitive wanted for a heinous local crime. Investigators tracked down Paul Jackson in Mexico today, 25 years after he's accused of holding 2 Oregon women captive as sex slaves. At 11 o'clock, good evening. I'm Jeff Gianola. Jennifer is off tonight. Our Jennifer Dowling, though, talked with detectives for more on how law enforcement finally caught this guy. Jennifer?
Jeff, U.S. Marshals finally caught up with Paul Jackson in Mexico thanks to a tip. It appears he'd been hiding there for many years, and detectives say this day was a long time in coming.
The house was like a house of horrors. It was like a dungeon.
For Andrea Hood and Michelle DeRich, the things that happened to them in this Hillsborough home is the stuff of nightmares.
They kept me chained to the bed, my hands handcuffed, you know, like on each corner, and my feet on each corner. And they had guns laying around.
Andrea explained in this 1990 interview that Vance Roberts and half-brother Paul Jackson threw a pillowcase over her head, hit her with a stun gun, shoved her in a van, and drove her to Vance's house to rape her.
They had bars on all the insides of all the windows, and they kept telling me that if I screamed, nobody would hear me.
After 24 hours, she got out of her handcuffs, broke a window with the butt of a gun, and escaped to a nearby house. Bruce Parks was put on the case.
In 1990, I was a new young detective.
A grand jury indicted the brothers, but then they vanished, the case haunting Parks.
It was terrible what they put those women through in that house.
Vance Roberts turned himself in 2006. He was sentenced to 108 years, but wouldn't reveal where Paul might be.
25 years is a long time.
Then in July, CNN featured Paul on the hunt. A resulting tip led U.S. Marshals to a hotel in Guadalajara. He was arrested today.
Because he was claiming he wasn't a U.S. citizen.
However, Parks says fingerprints don't lie.
What are you going to say to him first, since you've been after him for around 25 years?
Well, one, I'm going to say, do you remember me? And my next question is, you want to help yourself? You know, we got a lot of questions.
Parks says he promised Michelle and Andrea he wouldn't give up on bringing him to justice.
I'd like to see that before my career ended here, to seeing him in court.
And Parks isn't sure exactly when Paul Jackson will be sent back to Oregon to face trial, but he says because he's still considered a U.S. citizen, not a Mexican citizen, he's confident there won't be many roadblocks to that process. Back to you, Jeff.